Housekeeper, hurry up with the coffee, she said with urgency. This is why dropouts who are unattractive are just incompetent as housekeepers, sister-in-law spoke with a smug look on her face. I was about to retort, but then the man who is sister-in-law's fiancé caught my eye. Immediately after, there was an unexpected hug. I didn't understand what was happening, but this hug somehow reversed the roles between me and my sister-in-law. My name is Candace. I'm 35 and love falling asleep while watching videos of my child's dance recitals. My child is the best, an angel. Their cute little butt and tiny limbs during the dance are just so adorable. Spoiling my child? Well, why not? To a parent, their child always seems cuter than any other. Now that I think about it, maybe sister-in-law Jen was raised the same way. Let's go back a few years to when I was a newlywed. When Edward proposed, he mentioned wanting to live with his parents after we got married. Honestly, I was nothing but anxious, living with Edward's parents, father-in-law Matt and mother-in-law Tara, in a duplex. They say it often doesn't work out well, but to my surprise, Matt and Tara were incredibly kind. Feeling reassured, I happily moved forward with the wedding plans. But then things changed. Initially, everything was fine with my in-laws, or more precisely, it was just with Jen that things deteriorated. It started when I visited the Lowe's house for wedding and registration discussions. A relative of Edward's who happened to be visiting said, "Edward, you've got yourself a pretty bride." Right at that moment, Jen glared at me coldly. Matt cheerily responded, "Edward's lucky to have such a beauty." Then I thought I saw Jen glaring at Matt. I brushed it off as my imagination and soon forgot about it, as we didn't see each other for a while. However, on our way to the wedding, for some reason, Jen wore a white dress. She's in her late 20s, not an ignorant student unaware of wedding etiquette. She deliberately chose a color that clashed with the wedding dress. Of course, the in-laws and Edward were like, "What were you thinking?" But she just said, "This was all I had." According to the in-laws, she left the house in a different colored dress and must have changed on the way. Doing so sneakily, changing in secret like that, it can only be interpreted as malicious. She even commented on my wedding dress. When Candace wears it, it doesn't really look like a wedding dress. More like a cheap $19,000 dress. Guess it depends on who wears these fancy clothes. And left. Why would she do something so cruel? The next day after the ceremony, Jen's attitude changed dramatically. "Hey, don't wash my laundry after the ceremony with yours," she said, interrupting my chores. I, who had taken over the housework for Tara, was suddenly berated by Jen. She didn't like that I washed her laundry together. Washing with a plain Jane's clothes might make me plain too. Disgusting! Wash them again. She threw her laundry at me and left. You might think I should have said something back, but I was just dumbfounded. Adults don't talk like that, right? Separating laundry because plainness might spread? It's something endearing when a teenage girl asks not to mix her father's laundry with hers, seeing it as a part of growing up to avoid hassle. I pretended to rewash the clothes and just put them back in the closet. Tara even said, "That's fine," and apologized for Jen's behavior. Since that day, Jen has been relentless, criticizing the meals I make, complaining about my body odor stinking up the room, and saying whatever she wants, even in front of Edward and the in-laws. She kept it up and wouldn't stop, even when everyone scolded her. She even started saying things like, "She dropped out of school, so I'm teaching her about household matters. She probably doesn't even know basic common sense." It's true, I did drop out to chase a dream when I was younger, so my highest level of education is incomplete, but it's never been an issue for me, and I'm not ashamed of it. Being belittled for my education is trivial to me. Jen, on the other hand, graduated from a junior college near her home. It's not a prestigious university, but she acts as if she's more elite than me because of it. She even started saying, "I'm an elite Al like you." But Jen wasn't always like this. I wondered what had upset her so much. Then, a few months after the wedding, there was a gathering with relatives. Of course, everyone had met at the wedding, but this time, it was more of an opportunity to chat with me and Edward, kind of like a get-together. And then, Candace's wedding dress was so cute. Absolutely, Edward is lucky to have such a woman. Can't wait to see what their kids will look like. They were all excited about her appearance. I don't mean to brag, but I'm quite confident in my looks. Edward isn't traditionally handsome, but he has a well-balanced face and a charming aura, which has made him quite popular to the relatives. We're like the attractive couple. As the relatives chatted, not paying us any mind, Jen bristled with displeasure and subtly blurted out, "You all might not know, but I was really popular in my school days." Ah, so that was it. The moment I understood the cause of Jen's anger. Despite everyone's stunned expressions, Jen started bragging about how she was confessed to a lot and how men would swarm around her. When she walked down the street, honestly, it sounded ridiculous, especially when looking at Jen. Frankly, Jen isn't very beautiful with small eyes and a large, round nose. It's hard to believe she had the kind of experiences she claimed. Everyone just listened with a really skeptical expression and soon lost interest. Changing the subject, I listened out of pity. But later when I went to the kitchen to get some drinks, Jen followed and yanked my hair from behind. "What, you think you're better than me? What are you talking about? I know you were just humoring me when I said I was popular. I can tell." I was momentarily taken aback. I mean, she started claiming to have had 7 boyfriends at one point. It was obviously a lie. I tried to listen earnestly, but it's hard to stay interested when you can tell it's all made up. "You think you're so great just because you're called pretty, right?" "That's just because our country relatives aren't used to women. I'm not feeling great about it." Jen let go of my hair. "Shut up!" She yanked my hair even harder. "In this house, no, in this neighborhood, I'm the cutest. I've been told I'm cute since I was a child. Don't get cocky just because you wear makeup." Jen, who couldn't become prettier even with makeup, accused me. Okay, you're the cutest, Jen." "See, you're just saying that. Dropouts like you, your fake concern is so obvious." She pushed my back and released my hair, causing me to fall hard to the floor. Satisfied, Jen spat in my face. "Don't get carried away just because you're called cute. I'm the cutest," and walked away. This incident, of course, had to be reported to Edward and the in-laws. Again, when I shared the story, everyone had a "not again" expression on their faces. I learned that Jen is a narcissist with too much self-esteem, just like how she acted at the family gathering. It turns out the root of this behavior was her late grandfather, who doted on her as his only granddaughter. He always said she was cuter than celebrities on TV, which apparently skewed her perception of beauty. She seems to believe she's the epitome of cuteness. This caused her troubles with classmates when she was younger. Everyone apologized to me for the inconvenience, but they said there was nothing they could do. It seems Jen won't listen to anyone. According to Edward and the in-laws, I get it, but it's frustrating to hear that nothing can be done, especially when she's not just verbally abusive, but also physically harmful. Do something about it, I thought. I was even considering divorce as soon after getting married. But then, within 3 weeks, Jen brought home a man, introducing him as her fiancé. We were all surprised, as we hadn't even heard she was dating anyone. Her fiancé, Aaron, a serious-looking man with glasses, seemed timid and kept his head down. Jen, on the other hand, was acting tough. There was no sign of affection or intimacy between them, making me wonder if he really was okay with marrying Jen. While I was preparing coffee in the kitchen, pondering this, Jen started berating me again. "Hey, housekeeper, hurry up with the coffee. This is how dropouts who are unattractive are. Don't keep my fiancé waiting. If this engagement gets called off, it's your fault." Edward and the in-laws tried to calm her down, saying, "Enough is enough," but she wouldn't listen. Just as I was about to return, Aaron looked up at me. His gaze was so intense that I lost my words and asked, "What? Why are you looking at me?" Then suddenly he exclaimed, "Mimian!" and hugged me tightly. Jen, taken aback, let out a confused, "Huh?" Everyone was shocked. "You've been doing well. I was worried about you after you retired. There is no information about you online," he said. Sorry," I mumbled. Aaron quickly let go, realizing my discomfort. Jen, confused, asked, "What's going on? Are you a fan from my marriage?" Aaron proudly responded, "Yes, I'm a fan of Mimian." He seemed so different from the timid person we saw earlier. Tara, puzzled, asked, "Mimian? Who's that?" Edward explained, "It's the idol group Candace used to be part of, right?" I nodded silently in response. Mary Jenny, later known as Mary and Jenny Pie, was the musician group I belonged to in my teens. I moved to the city at 16 and performed as Mimi Pie until 19. Mary Jenny didn't become world famous, but we had our share of popularity. Unfortunately, the group disbanded due to some members' misconduct, and I left the music industry at 20. I was a lead member and the group's leader. This is why I dropped out of school. I pursued my dream while working part-time and gave up on further education, and I've never regretted that decision. Back when I was a teenager and had decided to marry Edward, I was working at an apparel shop. I never mentioned this past to my in-laws or Jen. Wow, you were a musician. That's amazing. Why didn't you tell us? Exclaimed Tara, thrilled. I had some fame but wasn't big enough to appear on TV. I felt a bit embarrassed to tell my in-laws about it, and now, being reminded of it like this, yeah, it's still embarrassing, Jen. You just said some harsh words to Miman, didn't you? Aaron glared at Jen. Oh, well, Jen stumbled over her words. Aaron glared at Jen. How could you say such things to Miman? What right do you have to act all high and mighty, you ugly girl? Suddenly furious, Aaron lunged at Jen, leaving everyone stunned. What, these two are engaged? Calm down, Aaron, I'm not bothered by it. Don't be so harsh on her, I said, turning to Aaron. Aaron raised his voice. No, Miman, you're wrong. She only approached me because I'm a doctor. She said she would marry anyone if it meant bragging to her sister-in-law. That's not true, Aaron, I said quietly. A girl who proposes just after 2 weeks of dating means nothing to me. We were all dumbstruck by the unfolding drama. Apparently, Jen planned to marry a high-status man to boast to me. She said she caught a doctor husband because of her education. Before our wedding, Jen had scoured her contacts, attending any dinner party, and approaching any man with good prospects. Of course, it's not easy to find such a perfect match. Initially, she casually confessed to handsome men or those in high corporate positions. But of course, she faced nothing but failure. Then, a few weeks later, she met Aaron, a doctor. Not wanting to lose a high earner like him, Jen zeroed in on Aaron. Aaron, inexperienced in love, thought, no one has ever pursued me so passionately. But a week later, overhearing Jen's phone call, he realized, she doesn't love me. She's just after a doctor. Yet, he accepted her proposal, thinking she might grow to love him. Jen, who would settle for anyone, and Aaron, who just wanted to seize the opportunity, they seemed oddly suitable. But I kept silent. No one will marry a girl who looks down on Miman. Aaron was beyond furious, while Jen was visibly frightened. A usually mild-mannered Aaron enraged was unexpected. What's so good about that dropout, that ugly girl? Jen muttered weakly. How dare you call Miman ugly? You're the one who's different in class. Aaron heated up even more. Well, but Jen, you keep bringing up my dropout status. Is it really that bad? Aaron's expression hardened. Without education, of course, it's bad. So the owner of your favorite restaurant started chef training after high school, and your favorite actor is also a dropout. Are they bad too? That's different. They're in special professions. Well, I chose to drop out for a special career too as a musician. Is it only okay if I'm successful? I didn't even know you were a musician. Yeah, but if you knew, you would find some other reason to insult me, wouldn't you? Catching Jen off guard with my stare, she averted her eyes. I don't like to brag about education, but since you mention it, let's talk. You might say Harvard, but your junior college, anyone can get in just by writing their name. You got in despite graduating from the lowest performing high school in the state. You're just proud of being able to write your name. Isn't that empty? As I smiled, Jen's face turned red. Shut up. Amazing, Jen. You can write your name. Are you satisfied? You want to look down on me? Here, as you wish. Jen is amazing. Mockingly clapping for Jen, Aaron exclaimed, Cute! Why did I forget about Miman for such an ugly girl? Fans are incredible. Even now, I don't find myself cute beside an adoring Aaron. Jen's self-esteem crumbled. The worst. I have never been made fun of like this. I'm cute. It's your fault, you know? And besides looks, your personality isn't cute. I know I'm not the cutest either, but I'm not as bad as you. Maybe start by fixing that ugly personality. What? Who do you think you are? Jen's face twisted with anger. You see, a woman's face ages with time. There's no point in being confident about your looks. What's important is the heart. Inner beauty shows on your face. Tur clapped and agreed. That's well said, Edward added with a wry smile. True. I used to like cute girls when I was younger, but when thinking about marriage, I started valuing comfort and personality. Jen won't get married with her current attitude, Matt sharply commented. You were always called cute, but that's as a grandchild, not in the eyes of the world. With a bad personality, you'll end up being ugly inside and out, he added. Jen sighed in despair. This is just the worst, and started crying. Then Aaron said mercilessly, Even though my fiancé is crying, I can't help but think that a girl with a bad personality has an ugly crying face. So, let's call off this marriage. I'm confident I won't fall for a girl like this. Sorry for being distracted by her, Mimon. And so Jen's engagement ended incredibly quickly. She was kicked out of her house, being told to learn about the work. Initially, Jen said defiantly, I have friends. I won't let being kicked out bother me. But she returned home within 3 days saying, I fought with my friend and got kicked out. Can I come back? It seems even her friends saw through Jen's flaws after spending so much time together. No one was willing to take her in. Of course, no one accepted Jen. My in-laws and Edward regretted pampering Jen too much. They apologized to me. We heard but didn't act. Sorry. I understand it's hard for parents to kick out their child, but at 20, she's an adult and responsible for her actions. And then there is Edward. He secretly planned to provide Jen with a house to live separately from me. Before he could, she was kicked out. He apologized. I'm sorry for making you endure that. A husband should protect his wife better, or else I'll divorce you, I joked. Afterward, Jen moved into her own place. She was robbed, asked for money by men she met on a dating app, sprained her ankle falling off her bike, and found all her oranges rotten. It seems like her past misdeeds are catching up. Well, good luck to her. Not that I'm really thinking that. As for me, I'm busy raising our little girl. She just started walking and recently told me, I have a boyfriend. It's a boy from kindergarten. They started dating after playing house and even promised to marry. Edward cried while drinking. Don't leave, Dad, and get married. It's fine. Their relationship is like playing house. But kids grow up so fast. Someday, she'll surely find someone she wants to marry. Until then, Edward and I will raise her responsibly to make our pride and joy an even more wonderful lady. Well then, since my daughter made a mess, it's time for a lecture and cleanup. The road to becoming a lady